No matter what we do for our work, we're going to be using AI. The big question is, will AI automate everything we do, automating us right out of a job, or will it be changing what we do for our job and having us learn new skills to better do our job and to better use AI? And that's the big question. And that really depends on which person, which people is going to be driving the AI adoption in your company. Now, I'm on the latter, that where I think that AI will be driving automation. But there's a lot of people that have differing opinions on that. And you can see that in a lot of the articles being written about what can be replaced with artificial intelligence, what jobs will be eliminated in the next 5 years, 10 years. And well, it's scary as heck. And then you see contradictory articles saying, well, no, all these jobs are safe. And then you'll see articles where, well, this job is not safe. And then in another article, well, no, it's really safe. So there is really no consistency when people are providing their analysis on what jobs will be eliminated, which jobs will be augmented. But after looking at hundreds, and I mean hundreds of positions and how they're going to be automated or how they're going to be eliminated, well, there's a pattern to it. And you only see it after you go at over a little bit over 200. And you'll see that there's 8 dimensions that you can consider. And you can use these 8 dimensions as a taxonomy, as a category system when you are looking at a position and you want to redesign that position for automation and augmentation. And you can compare what you're doing to other positions in your company and to what your peer companies are doing in the industry. Right? And this taxonomy, these dimensions, provide a common language for people to actually explain how they are changing and augmenting their jobs. Now, these dimensions focus on certainty versus risk. AI creates risk, and you want AI systems and the people working with AI systems to reduce risk. You can't eliminate it, but you can reduce it, especially the risks that lead to harm. Like, I'm from an engineering school, and that's a big thing. You got to reduce harm. You can't cause intentional harm. That we took an oath. And that's really what we need to worry about with AI. Now, the dimensions, they come up with a slick acronym called ACID plan. And I'll walk through each of the letters here from a high level, and in a later video I'll go into each of the letters in detail and provide more depth in the examples. But here's just a high-level framework to give the common language, to give common guidelines that can direct the augmentation and automation of the work we do within our companies. Okay, the first letter, letter A in ACID plan. Certainty of accuracy. Now, in some industries, things are very accurate, like in the legal profession regarding how you handle court cases, or the medical profession and how you treat patients, or pharmaceuticals and how certain medicines react with other medicines that you need to worry about, or even the development of new medicines. So a lot of certainty, a lot of rules, a lot of consistency. The more certainty there is in a domain, in a subject area, the better chances you can automate a lot of the activities in that subject area. But here's the thing. When there's any inconsistency, then the AI becomes counterproductive. It actually may create even more work or a lot more risks that could lead to harm. So, like for instance, if I'm a lawyer, I can use AI for document discovery. I can use it to create summaries. I can use it to help with scheduling, to help make sure all the check boxes are ticked. But if I want it to structure my arguments or help to navigate precedents, or even to have citations and determine experts, well, AI is not that good with that, right? Because there's a lot of uncertainty in there. And AI does not work good with uncertainty. It doesn't work good with contradictions. So focus on certainty as one of the leading dimensions when determining if you can automate aspects of a position. Okay, C in ACID plan. C is certainty of course corrections. I have an artificial intelligence. I give it some work. Doesn't matter if the work is analytical work or manual work. I should get some work and then see if what sort of things I need to fix to reduce the risk, to increase the quality. So like for instance, the work can give me maybe a set of templates, and I can run and go with the templates and maybe change them a little bit. Or it might go with producing a product, and all I have to do is make sure that the product doesn't have any errors or defects and everything's aligned. Like there's certainty. And when I do need to change something, the course correction, they're predictable course corrections. I don't need to understand what the AI did to build the thing it gave me. I just need to inspect it quickly and determine, well, these are the common course corrections I need to always do, and this is my list, and oh, it's the option A this time, and the next one it's option B or option C. AI is really good for things like that. Okay, now the next letter in ACID plan is interpretation, uncertainty of interpretation, specifically how the AI is interpreting. AI is really good when you have dealing with short bursts of things. So like for instance, something's on a page, it's a short sentence, you don't need to worry about the nuances of jargon or language. AI can interpret that sentence fairly well. You're on the assembly line, there are only certain parts going down a certain route. AI is good at interpreting those parts and you have a lot of confidence in those interpretations. Now, with things that get a little more complex, like for instance, human behavior regarding fraudulent activities, especially for banking, the AI is not so good with that interpretation. It can give things that are suspect, but it can't give certainty that, well, this person's committing fraud. So you see the line there where you may need to augment someone's job to use the AI up to a point to identify prospects of fraud and then have someone investigate. Now, next letter, D in ACID plan. This is certainty of delegation, where I get a bit of work and I hand it off to the AI or any form of automation. Like for instance, I'm at McDonald's and I want to order a Big Mac, right? You see those computer screens there where I could select my menu option Big Mac. That's automation. Doesn't even need to be AI for it to be automation. Other aspects of automation could be I'm handing off an analysis to ChatGPT and getting an answer back. I don't need to worry about how the AI is figuring things out for me. I can just take the work and run with it with confidence. All right, this is good for things like putting together a series of templates on how to handle strategies, to how to handle plans, help to do things involving with summaries, comparisons of details within documents. Right, so things like that are really good for delegation because I don't need to know where it came from. I just need to go and run with it. But if I was to do something a little more complicated, like a court case, where I need to worry about precedents, and I need to worry about where things are coming from, or frameworks where things are coming from, then the AI for what I need to do, not so good. AI is not good for things that are one-offs and things like that. So that's delegation. Okay, next it's the P in ACID plan. P is certainty in position, pattern, and path. So 3 aspects of it. So position. Think of things where it's predictable where things are going to be. Like if you are working with a lot of medical reports, they tend to put positions in the certain boxes in those medical reports, certain positions on the page. And they're going to position the words a certain way, use jargon a certain way. There's a lot of anchoring that the AI can rely on to be certain on where things are so it works properly. And when things are positioned in the right way, AI can look at patterns too to determine if things are fraudulent or if things are leading to something severe, like a patient is leading to maybe a health condition if there's no intervention. Now, when there is no patterns and everything is free-form text and people are using all the different jargon and such, AI is not really good with that. Especially if you have someone from Europe where they speak with certain slang and you give it to AI in the United States or Canada, the AI might not quite understand it. All right, so because you need certainty in position and in patterns. And then there's path part. The path part is talking about the steps from A to Z. Are there certainty in those steps? Are you certain where the thing is in the process? For instance, a document was vetted, it was reviewed, you know absolutely sure where it is, or if it doesn't even need to be vetted, you are sure that's where it should belong in the process. You know with high certainty. And this works good with claim processing, medical processing, things involving with insurance and financial, things where there's formalized processes and everything's pretty crystal clear, especially in terms of escalation, in terms of regulatory. So that's P in ACID plan. Now there's the remaining letters, L, A, and N. So these are sort of a different shift. We're going to talk less about the AI and more about people interacting with the AI. So L is certainty of learning. When you are automating, well, it changes your job. It augments your job. But you got to learn your job, relearn your job, so that you perform well at that job. And when you learn more, that creates more opportunities for automation and further augmentation of your job, which requires you to learn more. That's a different mindset altogether because you're constantly learning. And there's not that many people that can keep up with that pace of constantly learning, that constant excitement of learning. Some people will reject the change outright and refuse to learn more, refuse to adopt further automation and accept further augmentation. And so you got to be considering that when you're looking at AI adoption, because some people just will not accept AI. While there's other areas of your company that will open it with open arms because they are in the passion of constantly learning. So that's L. Now there is A again in ACID plan, the second A. And this is certainty of the analysis that people will, when using the AI. That certainty will lead to a desirable answer, a desirable outcome. And if it doesn't lead to a desirable outcome, that it will help people figure out to lead to a desirable outcome without creating a high degree of risk, low risk. And like for instance in ChatGPT is a good example. I want to put together a project plan. And it would, I can analyze the typical activities. It has access to everything going on in industry. And I can do my analysis and keep on enriching my analysis over a period of time. And it'll eventually help me ask the right questions to the people at my company, to the people at the PMO, the people adopting AI. Well, ask the right questions, you get the right answers. And that's a prime example of it. But there are times where AI, where you're asking it, it might lead to some things that are fairly dark. That might cause ethical violations, like how to deal with coworkers, or how to deal with legal and regulatory that's in the gray area. Things that you don't want involved. And those are not desirable outcomes that companies want to have. So you got to consider that the AI tool is leading to things that will actually help the company, will help the people in their positions. Now, the last letter in ACID plan is N, and this is no intervention. So interventions are where you have to go in and you have to redirect the AI, tell it, oh, no, you shouldn't be doing that, and then do it over, right? That's an intervention. And you don't want to be able to do that with the AI if you want artificial intelligence to scale, because the more interventions means less scalability. And so you can gain a lot of advantage if you're able to structure things so that you don't need to intervene, and what the AI is doing, it's on the right path, and the more processing you give it, the more time you give it, the more it gets on the more correct path, and it becomes more accurate. Because with the way a lot of artificial intelligence works, the more you start trying to give more processing power to it, the more that errors or the more that misunderstandings seem to develop in the things being delivered to you by the AI. And eventually, it's like getting a photocopier. You photocopy a page, then you take that page and photocopy it again, and keep on photocopying again. You do it 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, that page will be black. And that's not what you want. And that's really what the AI does. And this is a common problem when we're training AI and when we're using AI in succession a lot. So we got to make sure that we balance that fine line where the more automation we provide, the more time we provide to the AI, the better the answer it gets. And that's it. Those are the 8 dimensions. ACID plan. Accuracy, course correction, interpretation, delegation, pattern, position, path, and certainty of learning, and then analysis, certainty of analysis, and then being able to do repetitive work with no intervention. When you take these dimensions and look at a position from these viewpoints, you'll get a good idea of how to change the AI, how to change your job, how to change your team and department. And it's pretty straightforward. Like you can just, and you can build a scoring system, a ranking system, and you can elaborate on it because you have a common language explaining what it is you're actually doing. And that's important because if we start bringing in experts, people from the top schools, the top consulting firms, they're going to bring in their own stuff that probably is very advanced in terms of artificial intelligence, needs a lot of intellectual brain power. But these 8 dimensions, they're not like that. They're pretty ground to earth. They're rooted in things that are pretty observable, that you can observe in positions and in artificial intelligence. Not academic at all. And I think that's a good thing because then it's easier to adopt, easier to use, easier to communicate to the masses within your company.